All right, imagine this. You've got big dreams, right? Maybe you want to nail that promotion, finally connect with someone you admire, or even just feel more confident walking into any room. We all crave that kind of impact, that feeling of truly mastering something important in our lives. But here's the secret nobody tells you. It's not about being the smartest or the luckiest, it's about understanding how people tick, and more importantly, how you tick. For decades, the timeless wisdom of figures like Dale Carnegie has shown us that true influence and lasting success aren't just about what you know, but how profoundly you connect with others and how you continually shape yourself. So if you've ever felt stuck or like you're missing some crucial piece of the puzzle, prepare to uncover 3 surprisingly simple yet incredibly powerful keys that can unlock mastery in any area, from your career to your relationships, making you more effective and genuinely influential. Stick with us until the very end, because the insights we're about to share build on each other, and you won't want to miss the final pieces of advice that tie it all together. And while you're here, if you find this journey valuable, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on more wisdom that can truly transform your life. The dabbler's trap and the master's path. In the grand tapestry of life, a great many of us, perhaps unknowingly, adopt the persona of the dabbler. Individuals who embark on new ventures with boundless enthusiasm experience an exhilarating surge of initial growth and then, almost inevitably, collide head-on with a plateau. It is precisely at this juncture that the majority choose to retreat, often declaring that the activity has simply ceased to be enjoyable. Think for a moment about the nascent stages of a relationship, the genesis of a new business venture, or indeed any novel pursuit. The beginning is invariably infused with excitement, brimming with the freshness of discovery. However, when the novelty inevitably fades and the pace of progress slackens, the dabbler, true to form, withdraws. This very mentality, this philosophy of try and abandon, serves as a formidable impediment to the attainment of genuine mastery. If we are truly earnest in our desire to transform any specific domain of our existence, be it the state of our physical well-being, the management of our emotions, the depth of our personal relationships, the efficiency of our time, the trajectory of our professional careers, the security of our financial standing, or even the profound dimensions of our spiritual lives, then we must, without equivocation, transcend this pervasive tendency. From Dale Carnegie's perspective, the dabbler's predicament often stems from a fundamental lack of genuine interest, perseverance, and most crucially, the absence of a long-term vision. Carnegie would argue that this ephemeral engagement is a symptom of insufficient self-motivation, or perhaps an inability to inspire oneself to push through discomfort. He taught that success in human relations, much like success in any skill, requires unwavering commitment. A dabbler, in Carnegie's eyes, might be someone who understands the principles of making friends and influencing people intellectually, but fails to consistently apply them when the initial novelty wears off, or when faced with difficult personalities. They may try to remember names or smile, or listen intently for a short while, but if it doesn't immediately yield the desired effect, they revert to old habits. They lack the commitment to make these principles a part of their very being. In stark contrast, the master in any field inherently comprehends the profound power of consistent effort and deep engagement. This mirrors the arduous yet ultimately rewarding process of building truly lasting relationships or forging successful, enduring ventures through an unyielding commitment to their underlying principles. A master doesn't abandon their pursuit when the initial thrill subsides. Rather, they delve deeper, driven by an intrinsic desire to understand the nuances, to refine their approach, and to overcome obstacles through sheer tenacity. Carnegie's principles of human relations, such as showing sincere appreciation, listening empathetically, making others feel important, or winning people to your way of thinking gently and with respect, are not merely techniques to be tried once or twice. They are philosophies of life that demand consistent application, especially when faced with adversity. Consider the individual striving for mastery in public speaking, a skill greatly emphasized by Carnegie. A dabbler might attend a few sessions, give a couple of speeches, and then quit when they encounter stage fright or receive less than perfect feedback. They might say, "Public speaking isn't fun anymore." A master, however, understands that the initial discomfort is part of the process. They embrace the feedback, practice tirelessly, and continually refine their delivery, their message, and their ability to connect with an audience. They persist because they see the long-term value, the ability to influence, to inspire, to lead. This deep engagement stems from a genuine interest, not just in the outcome but in the process of growth itself. The path of the master, therefore, is characterized by an unshakable belief in the value of perseverance and a clear understanding that true growth often occurs beyond the comfort zone, particularly during periods of plateau. It's during these times that the master differentiates themselves from the dabbler. Instead of retreating, they redouble their efforts, seeking out new strategies, refining old ones, and cultivating a resilience that allows them to push through moments of stagnation. This mirrors Carnegie's emphasis on developing character and self-control, the inner fortitude required to consistently apply principles of effective human interaction even when it feels challenging or inconvenient. Mastery is not about fleeting enjoyment. It is about profound satisfaction derived from sustained effort and tangible achievement. It is about understanding that the initial excitement is merely the spark, but commitment and consistent application are the fuel that sustains the flame, allowing us to transcend plateaus and attain levels of excellence that are both profound and enduring. The power of modeling, learning from the best, the first and arguably most potent accelerator on the arduous yet ultimately rewarding journey towards mastery, is the profound act of modeling. This principle mandates that we must meticulously identify and then assiduously emulate those individuals who have already achieved the very results that we ourselves ardently covet. If our aspiration is to elevate our lives, or any specific domain within it, to an unprecedented higher plane, then the most expedient path, indeed the fastest route known, is to diligently learn from those who have already traversed that intricate terrain with resounding success. This is not merely about finding someone good, it is about seeking out and absorbing the wisdom of the absolute best in the world at what they do. What precisely is the critical distinction? Learning from someone who is merely good might, at best, lead you to mediocre results, especially if their goodness is their full-time occupation. Conversely, success invariably leaves discernible footprints. Consistently successful individuals are not simply the beneficiaries of random luck. They are, by definition, engaged in doing something fundamentally different and often profoundly more effective than what you might currently be doing. While it may appear that they possess some innate, specialized skill, that very skill is, in the vast majority of instances, entirely learnable. The crucial pivot point lies in judiciously selecting the appropriate role model, someone who is not only producing the precise result you desire, but doing so at an exceptional level. This fundamental principle is paramount for drastically compressing your learning curve and circumventing the myriad of unnecessary errors that often plague unguided pursuits of excellence. From a Dale Carnegie perspective, modeling transcends mere imitation of techniques. It delves into the realm of understanding fundamental attitudes, habits, and approaches to human interaction. Carnegie passionately advocated for learning from successful people, not just their technical prowess, but more importantly their wisdom in handling people, their ability to inspire cooperation, and their resilience in the face of adversity. He would emphasize that observing successful individuals helps one to understand human nature more profoundly and to grasp the nuances of effective communication. Think of a successful leader or salesperson in Carnegie's view. It's not just what they say, but how they say it. Their genuine interest in others, their ability to listen, their warmth, their capacity to make others feel important. These are not innate traits, they are cultivated habits. When you model such an individual, you are not simply copying their words, you are attempting to internalize their spirit and approach. For instance, if you are struggling with public speaking, a Carnegie-inspired model would not just be someone with perfect elocution, but someone who genuinely connects with their audience, who makes them feel something, and who is perceived as sincere. You would observe how they prepare, how they manage their nervousness, perhaps by focusing on the audience's needs rather than their own fear, and how they structure their message to win people to their way of thinking. Carnegie's entire philosophy is built on the premise that effective human relations can be learned, by observing and applying the successful practices of others. He analyzed and codified the actions of influential figures throughout history, from Abraham Lincoln to Theodore Roosevelt, to extract universal principles. When you model, you are essentially adopting the distilled wisdom of those who have already mastered the art of living and interacting effectively. It's about discerning the underlying principles that drive their success rather than just the superficial manifestations. For example, a successful negotiator doesn't just get a good deal. They understand the other party's perspective, find common ground, and build rapport, turning potential adversaries into allies, all classic Carnegie principles. Modeling them means learning to genuinely see things from the other person's point of view before formulating your own argument. Moreover, the act of modeling the best fosters a sense of possibility and raises your own standards. If someone else has achieved remarkable results, it serves as compelling proof that such achievements are within the realm of human capability. This eliminates the self-limiting belief that success is solely due to luck or innate talent. Instead, it highlights that success is a result of applied principles and consistent effort. By observing how the best handle challenges, build networks, persuade others, or motivate themselves, you gain invaluable insights that can be directly applied to your own life. It's about leveraging their journey as a blueprint for your own, recognizing that their success is a testament to universal principles that, when understood and practiced, can lead to better results for you. This approach leads to not just better outcomes, but to a more profound understanding of the human element in any pursuit. The video game lesson, knowing the road ahead. Consider for a moment the subtly humiliating yet undeniably instructive experience of engaging in a video game contest against a child. The question invariably arises, why does the child with disconcerting regularity emerge victorious? It is not, as many might instinctively assume, due to some inherent intellectual superiority or a naturally quicker reaction time, or even a greater physical agility. The explanation, when stripped of its superficial layers, is both profoundly simple and universally applicable. The child, quite plainly, has played the game before. They possess an intimate, experiential knowledge of the road ahead. This is not merely a trivial observation about digital entertainment, it is a fundamental truth that permeates every aspect of human endeavor. If there exists one single factor capable of dramatically accelerating your capacity to achieve any desired outcome, it is precisely this: an acute and actionable understanding of the path that lies before you. This profound obsession with the power of anticipation has in fact served as a primary driving force throughout my own adult life. From a Dale Carnegie perspective, knowing the road ahead is inextricably linked to foresight in human relations and business interactions. It is about more than just predicting events. It's about understanding human psychology and behavior to anticipate reactions, motives, and potential points of agreement or disagreement before they arise. Carnegie consistently taught that effective communication and influence are rooted in preparation and empathy, not impulsive reaction. Imagine a difficult conversation you need to have, perhaps with an employee, a client, or a family member. The dabbler might walk in unprepared, simply reacting to whatever is said. The master, guided by Carnegie's principles, would anticipate the other person's likely feelings, their possible objections, and their core needs. They would mentally rehearse different scenarios, not just to prepare their own arguments, but to consider how their words might be received. They would ask themselves, what is this person's perspective? What are their hidden desires? What objections might they raise, and why? This isn't manipulation, it's empathetic foresight, allowing one to frame their message in a way that resonates with the other person's interests, leading to a more constructive and mutually beneficial outcome. Carnegie's advice on winning people to your way of thinking often begins with establishing rapport, finding common ground, and showing sincere appreciation, all elements that are much easier to implement when you have anticipated the other person's frame of mind. Just as the child knows where the virtual obstacles and power-ups are located, the person skilled in human relations anticipates potential emotional landmines or opportunities for connection. They don't just react to an outburst, they may have anticipated it and prepared a calm, empathetic response that diffuses tension rather than escalating it. This preparation fosters confidence and allows for more influential interactions, rather than stumbling through conversations impulsively. Consider a sales scenario. The inexperienced salesperson might simply present product features. A Carnegie-trained salesperson, however, would have anticipated the client's needs and concerns, researched their business, and prepared to speak in terms of the client's interests. They might begin by asking questions to confirm their anticipations, allowing the client to talk and then tailor their pitch to address those specific anticipated needs. This proactive, anticipatory approach allows them to guide the conversation effectively, building trust and rapport rather than merely pushing a product. This profound concept that anticipation is the supreme power is, in essence, the ultimate advantage in the competitive arena of business. Within the intricate dynamics of family relationships and across the entire spectrum of life itself. The child wins the video game precisely because you, the adult, are reacting, having never played the game, unsure of where the next challenge or threat will emerge. Conversely, the child, having played countless times, possesses an intimate knowledge of the game's architecture. They know the precise location of the first antagonist, the subsequent one, and so forth. Consequently, they are empowered to anticipate. This distinction is critical. Leaders anticipate, followers merely react. If we are to attain the level of results that we not only desire but genuinely deserve, then cultivating the capacity to anticipate is not merely advantageous, but absolutely essential. It empowers us to proactively shape our interactions and outcomes, rather than simply being at the mercy of unfolding events. Anticipation as the ultimate advantage. Anticipation, at its core, represents the definitive distinguishing factor between the relentless march towards success and the paralyzing inertia of stagnation. When you find yourself lacking direct experience in a particular domain, the critical question arises: how precisely can one cultivate the capacity to anticipate? Fundamentally, you are presented with two distinct avenues for acquiring knowledge, either through the crucible of your own lived experience, which is often slow and fraught with error, or far more efficiently, through the invaluable insights gleaned from the experiences of others. Most of you are likely conversant with the potent force of leverage within the realm of finance, a concept often referred to as other people's money, OPM. However, there exists a form of leverage that transcends mere monetary value, the experiences of other people, particularly when those individuals are undisputed masters in their respective fields. This is because these masters possess an intimate knowledge of those minute, often imperceptible, 2 millimeters of insight that can unlock accelerated results for you, insights that might have taken them 2 decades to painstakingly discern. They possess the unique ability to impart that profound knowledge to you within a mere 15 minutes, 15 days, or perhaps 15 months, thereby saving you a colossal expenditure of 10 or 20 years of arduous trial and error. Consequently, my entire life has been consumed by this singular concept, that success invariably leaves discernible clues. Deepening this from a Dale Carnegie perspective, anticipation fundamentally translates into a profound understanding of people. If you can accurately anticipate the needs, concerns, desires, and even the potential objections of others, you gain an immense strategic advantage. This foresight allows you to frame your message, your requests, or your arguments in a way that resonates deeply with their interests, thereby building rapport, winning cooperation, and fostering mutual understanding. This directly ties into Carnegie's foundational principles of getting people to like you and winning people to your way of thinking. It's about putting yourself in the other person's shoes and genuinely seeing things from their point of view before you even begin to articulate your own. Carnegie famously said, "If there is any one secret of success, it lies in the ability to get the other person's point of view and see things from that person's angle as well as from your own." This is the essence of anticipation in human relations. It's not about mind reading, but about empathetic preparation. Before a meeting, a sales call, a difficult conversation, or even a casual interaction, the Carnegie-trained individual would mentally run through possible scenarios, considering the other person's background, motivations, and likely emotional state. They anticipate questions like, what does this person truly value? What are their hidden anxieties? How might my proposition benefit them? This anticipatory understanding allows for a much more effective approach than simply presenting your own agenda. Instead of trying to force your viewpoint, you can craft your communication to appeal to the other person's nobler motives, to show sincere appreciation for their efforts, or to make them feel important and understood. For example, if you anticipate that a colleague might resist a new project due to concerns about increased workload, you wouldn't just present the project. You would, in your initial approach, acknowledge their current commitments, perhaps express appreciation for their previous efforts, and then present the new project in terms of how it might alleviate a future problem for them or contribute to their professional growth, thereby addressing their anticipated concerns proactively. Furthermore, leveraging other people's experiences, what Carnegie would call learning from the masters, is the most efficient way to develop this anticipatory skill. You don't have to make every mistake yourself. By studying how great leaders handled crises, how influential speakers persuaded audiences, or how effective negotiators achieved consensus, you gain invaluable mental models. These insights allow you to know the road ahead without having personally walked every inch of it. It's about absorbing the distilled wisdom and the refined patterns of successful human interaction that these masters have cultivated over decades. They've already done the hard work of discerning those 2 millimeters, the subtle shifts in tone, the precise timing of a question, the perfect phrasing of a compliment, that transform ordinary interactions into profoundly influential ones. By learning from them, you are not just acquiring information, you are internalizing a predictive framework for human behavior that empowers you to anticipate, adapt, and ultimately succeed in connecting with and influencing others. This strategic foresight becomes your ultimate advantage in navigating the complexities of human dynamics, the mother of skill, repetition, and application. My original teacher and mentor, a remarkable individual named Jim Rohn, a profound business philosopher, imparted to me an unassailable truth that has resonated deeply throughout my life. Repetition is unequivocally the mother of skill. I had the privilege of working for Jim when I was just 17 years old, and I absorbed an immense amount of wisdom from him, primarily centered on his philosophical approach to business and life. He conducted 3-hour seminars, and what struck me, having attended no less than 47 of them, was their unwavering consistency. Every seminar was executed with the same meticulous precision. He would drop a piece of chalk at the exact same moment, turn to the audience with the same knowing look, and deliver his core message with identical emphasis. I diligently took notes every single time, because I rapidly came to the profound realization that learning from him was not merely about understanding, it was about internalizing through consistent exposure. This constant repetition, which some might mistakenly perceive as monotonous, was in fact the crucible in which genuine skill was forged. This profound insight directly connects with a common frustration we all experience. Have you ever been genuinely angry with yourself because you learned something important? Perhaps a new principle, a valuable strategy, or a crucial piece of information, but then failed to apply it in your life. The most probable reason for this frustrating disconnect is that you likely only heard it once, and at best, you understood it conceptually. Understanding, while certainly important, is merely the first tentative step on the journey toward mastery. In practical terms, understanding in isolation holds little real-world value. It's akin to having a map but never taking the journey. As the saying goes, understanding and a few dollars might get you a cup of coffee, implying that understanding itself without subsequent action yields no tangible results. From a Dale Carnegie perspective, the emphasis shifts dramatically from mere intellectual comprehension to applied knowledge and behavioral change. Carnegie didn't just teach principles like remembering names or smiling. He insisted that his students practice them repeatedly until they became deeply ingrained habits. He understood that true knowledge is not what you know, but what you do. If you understand how to listen actively, but find yourself frequently interrupting others, then, by Carnegie's standards, you haven't truly learned active listening. You've simply been exposed to the concept. Carnegie's courses, famed for their transformative power, were structured around this very idea of repetition and immediate application. Students would learn a principle, then immediately practice it in role-playing scenarios, and then commit to applying it in their daily lives. The subsequent class would involve sharing experiences and refining the application. This wasn't just about repetition for memorization, it was about repetition for habit formation and character development. The goal was not for students to understand how to be more likable or influential, but to become more likable and influential through consistent, deliberate practice of specific behaviors. Consider the principle of showing sincere appreciation. You can read about it, you can discuss its importance, and you can nod in agreement. That's understanding. But until you actively seek out opportunities to genuinely praise someone, to express gratitude from the heart, and to make it a regular part of your interactions, you haven't truly mastered it. The knowing that Carnegie speaks of isn't cognitive, it's experiential and behavioral. It's when the act becomes so natural that you no longer have to consciously think about it. Often, when you share a valuable insight with someone, their immediate response might be, "Oh, I already know that." This phrase for Carnegie would be a red flag. If you are not actively doing it, you don't truly know it in the sense that matters for generating results. You have merely heard it. You comprehend it cognitively, but it has not been internalized. It is not yet a part of your character or your automatic responses. The gap between theoretical understanding and practical application is vast, and it is bridged only through consistent, deliberate repetition and unwavering commitment to applying what has been learned. This transformation, from passive understanding to active knowing, is the true pathway to measurable success and personal growth. This relentless emphasis on practice, practice, practice until the principles become second nature is precisely why Carnegie's methods are so enduringly effective in transforming lives and improving human relations. Total immersion, the secret to acceleration. The second pivotal key, if you truly aspire to accelerate mastery in any domain of your life, be it the intricacies of finance, the delicate balance of an intimate relationship, the vitality of your physical well-being, the cultivation of joy, the depth of love, or the journey into spirituality, is the indispensable principle of learning through total immersion. Jot this down. Internalize it. You must learn through total immersion. Recall our earlier discussion about the seminar structure. Imagine a 50-hour program spread over the course of 4 intense days. Now, contrast that with the alternative. What if we were to meet for just 1 hour a week, over the course of 52 weeks in a year? Would you genuinely expect to achieve the same transformative results? The unequivocal answer is no. There is simply no comparison. From a Dale Carnegie perspective, total immersion is not merely a learning technique. It's a transformative experience designed to fundamentally alter habits and attitudes, which are far more crucial than simply acquiring information. Carnegie's seminars were notoriously immersive because their primary goal was to change behavior, not just impart knowledge. They aim to help individuals become more confident, more articulate, more influential, and more skilled in human relations. This kind of deep personal transformation cannot occur through sporadic, fragmented learning. Think about it profoundly. In an immersive environment, you literally dream it, breathe it, live within it. You are surrounded by the subject matter for extended periods, perhaps 12, 16, or even 20 hours a day. This relentless exposure and concentrated focus enable you to forge connections and insights that would simply never materialize when learning is fragmented and separated by long intervals. One of the most effective strategies I employ in my own life, as I've mentioned before, is to proactively schedule in advance the specific places and times that will facilitate my growth, thereby committing myself to these immersive experiences. Immersion is king. In a Carnegie program, for instance, you might spend an entire day focusing on the principle of making others feel important. This isn't just a lecture. It involves exercises, role-playing, personal reflection, and immediate feedback. You practice making others feel important in various scenarios, observe how others do it, and feel the impact it has. This constant, pervasive focus means you're not just thinking about the principle for an hour, you're living it, experiencing it, and internalizing it in a way that weekly, disconnected sessions simply cannot replicate. The sheer volume of focused practice helps to bypass the usual mental resistance and creates new neural pathways that reinforce the desired behaviors. If you commit yourself to environments of genuine immersion, you will undoubtedly make more substantial progress in a matter of days than you would realistically achieve in several years of sporadic, less concentrated effort, provided you approach it with genuine commitment. Furthermore, and this point cannot be overstated, if your immersion is conducted with a mentor who is truly outstanding, not merely good or even excellent, the impact will be exponentially greater. You could spend considerable time in an immersive setting with someone who is just good, and while you might gain some benefit, you will ultimately be immersed in goodness, which ironically often yields only poor or mediocre results when striving for true mastery. The quality of the immersion is directly tied to the caliber of the teacher. Carnegie himself understood that effective communication and leadership are not academic subjects to be learned from a textbook alone. They are applied arts that require intense practice in a supportive, focused environment. His workshops fostered an atmosphere where participants could step outside their comfort zones, experiment with new ways of interacting, and receive constructive criticism in real time. This kind of crucible experience, this total immersion, allows for the rapid development of skills that are often difficult to cultivate in isolation. It accelerates the process of habit formation, transforming intellectual understanding into instinctive, effective behavior. The goal is to saturate your being with the principles, allowing them to seep into every fiber of your being until they become an integral part of your personality and your approach to life. This profound shift, driven by total immersion, is the true secret to rapid acceleration on the path to mastery. We have now embarked upon and thoroughly explored a clear, direct, and profoundly effective pathway toward mastery, a journey that intentionally strips away superfluous complexity in favor of the elegant simplicity that, paradoxically, drives the most impactful execution. The true essence of this journey does not reside merely in the sheer volume of information you consume, but rather in the unwavering quality of your application and the strategic intentionality with which you approach every facet of your learning. By wholeheartedly embracing the mindset of a master, a mindset fundamentally different from that of a mere dabbler, we commit ourselves to a trajectory of sustained growth, empowering us to not only surmount inevitable plateaus, but to fundamentally transform raw understanding into actionable living skill. Always remember this critical insight: success invariably leaves discernible clues. And by diligently modeling the behaviors, attitudes, and principles of those who are truly outstanding, you instinctively align yourself with the very essence of excellence. This alignment is not just about copying, it's about internalizing the underlying philosophies that drive their success, especially in the realm of human relations, a cornerstone of Dale Carnegie's timeless teachings. Total immersion acts as your powerful catapult, propelling you forward at an accelerated pace, enabling you to absorb vast repositories of knowledge and cultivate new skills with remarkable speed and depth. It creates an environment where principles are not just understood, but are lived, breathed, and integrated into your very being. Yet, even after such profound immersion, the journey towards lasting mastery is incomplete without the diligent practice of spaced repetition. This crucial element ensures that the profound insights gained are not fleeting moments of inspiration, but are instead cemented into enduring habits and ingrained knowledge. It means consciously applying what you've learned in your daily life, practicing until the principles of effective communication, influence, and personal development become as natural as breathing. This consistent, deliberate practice, coupled with reflection and refinement, is what ultimately transforms theoretical knowledge into profound, lived mastery. Apply these three simple yet extraordinarily powerful keys. Model the outstanding, immerse yourself completely, and practice with spaced repetition, and you will witness a transformative elevation in every area of your life. These principles, rooted in the enduring wisdom of human nature, will not only lead to professional achievement, but will also cultivate a richer, more influential, and deeply satisfying existence. The immense power to reshape your reality, to achieve the mastery you desire, is not an elusive secret. It is readily within your grasp, poised to be unleashed through your intentional action, unwavering commitment to simplicity, and an unyielding pursuit of excellence.